I'll try to keep this short. 3 years ago on my birthday, I posted that I was starting a YouTube channel, and we've put a lot of videos up on YouTube, but we haven't opened very many of those videos up for public view. And Cindy and I, we do a morning devotional, and it's just audio, but some of it's very good. There are insights, at least, that speak to us about marriage, about faith, about our Father, what it means to have a Savior. We talk about mission, we talk about parenting, mentoring, the messy things of life when you find yourself faced with your heroes losing their capacity, whether it's physical or mental, as we've dealt with family and friends who are just aging out, and the difficulty of that. We've talked some about our struggles with our own children as they become adults, and the choices that they make that we just have to respect even though we disagree with. About some supporters who have been very open and very vocal about how into Christ on the River they are, and how into what it is that we're doing with the building project and seeking to equip people who are of low means to rise up with what's available and find resource and embrace organic architecture. We've posted some about our friend and mentor, James Shildroth, who is the last approved Lloyd Wright protege, and who began attending Wright's Taliesin School of Architecture the fall after he had been accepted. And in that spring, after he had been accepted, Lloyd Wright passed away. We post some about that whole design journey, and of course the property, and that journey with the property has been amazing. Along the way, though, we haven't kept up with the posting. Right now, I'm standing in a space that my parents have owned for over 40 years, and that has been, as you can see, in need of some repairs for a good long while. And having spent some of my early career, one of my early acts as a career in construction and working on construction sites, I knew as soon as we started with this project to design and build Usonian architecture, organic architecture out at Christ on the River, that we've got to be on the property for the majority of the build, just because of how insecure and dangerous it can be to leave resources on an insecure site. The economy being rough has been rough on us, but it's been rougher on other people. And we just know that getting materials on site and not being able to lock them up and secure them completely, that we're going to have material walk off the job site if we do it that way. And so this space, which is in desperate need of updating and desperate need of repair, has been gifted to us to use for prefabrication, to take these designs that are inspired and informed and guided by the principles that Lloyd Wright put into place 100 years ago with his first Usonian forays, and to take those designs and build all the components here, off-site, in what can be a secure location, and then flat pack it on a truck and take it out to Christ on the River, and already have the foundation prepared and put up a Usonian glamping site or treehouse, cottage, cabin, the various designs that Mr. Shildroth is helping us with. And to be able to do that in a time when we can have volunteers and friends who want to come out and learn about this way of building, and who want to come out and be a blessing to this mission, come out and camp. We'll all be out there, and it'll be a secure location because of who we are and what we bring to the location. And then we can get this built And in getting it built, then we can start to invite people who can make use of a place in nature that is a sanctuary to draw closer to God and closer to each other in their marriage. Recently, we've experienced some of our dear friends who are in ministry struggling in their marriage, struggling in a very public and a very painful way. And it's a reminder to us of how badly the church, the kingdom, the Lord needs a place where those who are serving in ministry, those who have an unfair burden on them of having an unfair influence and inordinate influence on the flock, where we can come and we can process out the attacks that are brought on us. And friends, this is our life. And we have some supporters who have been very, very faithful. And they come and they help move things. They help clean things. They help install. They help do the work. They help us out with the finances that we need while we're getting things in process so that this ministry can be self-sustaining, just so that we can have meat in our stew and cream in our coffee. And we have some who have not been able to be as faithful. It's kind of like Peter. You remember Peter on the night that Jesus was betrayed. Peter was very strong in all the wonderful things that he would do for the Lord. And then his circumstances got a little difficult. He found himself compromising and giving up on his commitment. And we've had some of that happen. It's very painful. It's very discouraging when someone that you want to hope and believe in has backed off of their commitment, when they have found what looks to them in the moment as a better option. Maybe it's something personal, maybe it's something else that's missional. They don't see the movement because this is a slow moving process. And they get discouraged and they back out. And it's so very painful and discouraging, not for us because we know the Lord has always supplied our needs, but for them because we know that Peter wept bitterly when he realized just how discouraging he had been to the Lord, just how unfaithful he had been to his own character in making a commitment and backing out. And so we look at what we're doing. We've made a commitment to the Lord, and there have been meals missed. We've never missed a payment. We've never gotten behind. But there have been meals missed. There have been choices made. There have been clothes that have been repaired instead of replaced. And we are comfortable with that because the commitment is to the Lord. What we want for those who come alongside and decide to labor with us in giving birth to a place where marriage ministry and marriage mentoring and mentoring in general can happen. A place in nature, a place where even the architecture is inspired by the mind of God. That we can help people become people who exercise commitment. One of the most dangerous things to your marriage, and yeah, I'm speaking directly to you, and you know who you are. One of the most dangerous things to your marriage is to make a commitment in one area of your life, especially if it has to do with the Lord. And then when a personal difficulty comes along, to back out of that commitment, because that is not practicing commitment. And when hard times come for your marriage, you want to be someone who has practiced commitment, even if it's the micro commitment of keeping up with what you're going to give at church, or what you're going to give into a ministry, or what you're doing with budgeting of your time for your family or your friends or your business or whatever it is. Those micro commitments help tune you to staying committed in your marriage. And it's not always easy, and it's not always convenient. And sometimes you make a commitment because you're like Peter, you're turned on and you're ready to go, and you're going to give up everything for this, whatever it is. And then you decide, or pressure comes to make some major life choice, and the thing that gives is the commitment that you made to the Lord. And that is not a pattern that is healthy for us to establish. So I would just encourage you, make a commitment, stick with it. we look forward to getting Christ on the River up and operational so that we can help you if you have commitments that you've been struggling with. If you want some help in mentoring and becoming a better mentor or being mentored yourself, having your marriage gain from the wisdom of others who have walked this path, and especially if you're in ministry, and especially if you're suffering silently in the fishbowl and the microscope that is being married and being in ministry, we understand and we want to help you. So like, comment, whatever you do on YouTube. It's 3 years after I decided to start this, and I'm just now getting started. I really don't know what I'm doing. I just want to let you know that there is value in making a commitment to the Lord, and there is value in seeing that commitment through, not just for your faith, but for your family and for your soul.